ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Jackie Chan. I'm alongside John McEnroe, and here we go.
I'm Chris Tucker, by the way.
And by the way, I'm Chris Rock.
Is it Chris Rock? Or Chris Tucker? Who does play with Jackie Chan?
It's Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Tucker.
You Chris Tucker.
What's Shanghai doing?
Oh, call me Owen Wilson.
I'm Tab the Tank.
Great flick. They made a sequel. Not as great. Just like British Noon. That makes no sense.
I'm Tab the Tank.
And I'm Jackie Chan.
This is Skinny Jeans.
And
we're here
Owen Wilson.
with Owen Wilson. And we are off the tap.
We're not with Off the Tap. We are Off the Tap. What's real good? Hit up our social media. Facebook Off the Tap. Instagram Off the Tap 2018. Our email is Off the Tap gb2018@gmail.com. Oh, and what's our Twitter? Off the Tap too, even though, you know, we number one. We're about to hit up a brewery that
No, we got one other one. Oh, we got Untapped. You didn't know?
That is also Off the Tap too.
You better get on there.
Get on there.
You want to tell them what we do on there, by the way? So
it's a little bit of a work in progress. I don't have anything on there yet.
We're working on it.
Because this is a very busy process.
It's kind of complex, too, because we got to do a lot of math.
A lot of math. We're terrible at math. If you watched one of our last episodes, we are terrible at math. Basically, I'm going to combine and give an average of all of our scores.
In the comments. Because they only do a 1 through 5.
They do a 1 through 5. We do a 1 through 10.
Using the Dewey Decimal System.
In the description, I will give Tad's and mine score, and then I will give an average at the end of it. I'll give maybe a small, brief description, because I don't want to give you too much. You got to come watch our videos.
But none of that shit matters, because your palate's different than our palates.
Exactly.
But you still should try the beers we're telling you that are crap or great. If they're great, definitely try them.
You're telling me nothing.
Did we get on that social media? Oh yeah, we did. We just covered it. Let's get on Perpetual IPA out of one of your favorite breweries right now.
Tröegs Brewing out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
He just came back from there.
Watched
the Phillies lose. Oh my god.
Again, the goddamn Mets.
The fountain was crying one more time.
So, I just took a trip out to Philly. This brewery, however, is still a 2-hour drive, so I still haven't visited. Very angry about that.
My question for you real quick, before we get going, did you check this single bottle of Perpetual IPA like the one dude did with New Glarus?
No, what do you mean?
There's a guy that checked 1 can of New Glarus beer.
Okay.
The Spotted Cow.
Oh, I did not check this.
You should have checked it.
You mean you're talking about
it's so great.
Bag check on my
bag
flight.
Check.
That
You
would
should
have
have
been
just
awesome.
checked it out. It's so great.
This thing would have been busted, let me tell you. Alright, so this place originated...
Dude, just bust it out. You got like a mile.
Doesn't matter! I got a mile-long
on
list of information on this entire brewery. It's one of my favorite breweries. Actually, I shouldn't say it's one of my favorite breweries. Everything that I've researched long before I've even brought the Perpetual IPA home from my last trip. I love this place. This is one of my absolute favorite IPAs.
Oh yeah, you guys are the 10, everybody.
Oh my god, you guys you're doing reviews on beer.
You're wondering why we only have that much beer?
And that's because they
only... this dickhead fucking drank it all.
I drank it all.
It was too
all
good.
of it. You hear that upstairs? Even the dogs love it. So
the dogs are out.
Basically, this place originated in 1997 in Hershey, Pennsylvania, or in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and now they actually upgraded to a gigantic facility.
How much do they brew?
And how much do they brew? All right, why don't we just read right through the notes? Bob Costas here. All right.
It's a newscast. It's not a brewcast.
Originated in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. All right. If you don't know what Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is, that's the capital of Pennsylvania. Okay. So now they basically have jumped ship and they've made an even larger facility in Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's right, Hershey. Oh,
where the squirts are from?
Where does that name sound familiar?
The squirts.
What is it? The Hershey Squirts. Yeah, you're right. The chocolate! All right. So Chris and John Trogner They combine their last name with the word Krog, which is a Flemish word for pub. If any of you are unfamiliar with Flemish, so are we.
I know nothing about it.
They actually, this is cool. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit. So we talk about sustainability quite a bit amongst breweries. We've kind of gotten away from that because they're all the damn same. Anything
How are these guys different?
Anything that sticks out, we usually be like, yo, look how cool this is. They just released their Trail Dale Pale Ale, okay? Trail Day Pale Ale, okay?
Trail Day or Trail Dale?
Trail Day. Trail Day.
Trail Day.
So like, oh, we're going on a Trail Day. Yep,
yeah.
they're Trail Day Pale Ale. It's easier to say Trail Dale Pale Ale.
Trail Dale.
Trail Dale. Say that 5 times. Trail Dale Pale Ale. Trail Dale Pale Ale. Trail Dale Pale Ale. Blah. Anyway, a lot of the proceeds from this brewery go to their Trail Day Fund. So it's a separate account, and it basically is dedicated to help the preserve of the Kittatinny Ridge, which is 15,000 acres of land adjacent to the Appalachian chain that stretches from the Mason-Dixon line to the Delaware Water Gap. So it runs right through New York.
Heard that's an awesome hike, by the way.
We should do that. 15,000 miles.
No,
what
I'm
else?
not doing it. I'm fat.
No, we should do it. Yeah.
I'll bring beer and I'm fat.
You won't be fat.
Yeah, because I'll be dead.
Which is pretty cool because a lot of places are like, oh, we give our grain to our farmers. You know, this is how we recycle. This is how we're utilizing our energies through.
So
wind.
do they like do they turn in like compost for this stuff and try to keep growing there?
No, just their. I didn't go into depth on everything they do as far as sustainability. The one thing that really stuck out was
they get back to that.
exactly, because
We'll
trees are forever. They need to be.
Plant a tree today, save tomorrow.
So the one thing that is frustrating about Pennsylvania is their distribution laws. When I was out in Pennsylvania,
yes, we know this from who else is out there? Yangling.
Yes. So the one thing that I've learned from my visit is I tried asking a lot of different questions at the different breweries I went to, and I got a lot of answers like I had a dick on my head because
He was a unicorn.
Yeah, basically. Look at me. Have you ever seen anything else
More
even
majestic?
similar? So I told them, I said, look, I understand you guys have a lot of distribution laws that really prohibit you guys from really doing anything cool. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And this was at a bar that had more different types of beer than I have ever seen in my life. I walked into this bar and it was just, I couldn't even explain. And the menu was like a Bible. I think they called it the Bible.
Jesus Christ.
Which is better than the actual Bible.
See, like, the only place I've been to like that is like what the Yard House or whatever out in Colorado. I went there and like they just had, yeah, it's a Yard House because they used to sell Yard's beer.
Oh, okay.
And like they just had like taps upon taps. It's like, what the hell?
It wasn't even the taps upon taps. Because in order to
a lot
do
of it was
that,
bottles probably too. Huh?
it was at bottles and cans, but they had coolers upon coolers. And I've never seen so many different types or so many different breweries in my life at one establishment. Turns out Pennsylvania's laws, they're very prohibitive of actually sending beer out, but as far as bringing beer in, Pennsylvania is like the capital of the world as far as
you can
bringing beer in.
So
they have
export sucks, imports phenomenal.
is one of the best at least in the entire country, if not the world. They bring in, because of whatever they have set up out there, they're able to bring in anything and everything, and they're able to get it before most other places are. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's probably no backlogs on what you can bring in then.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Well,
so
we're bringing black tart on. I'm just kidding.
Tröegs only,
because we can get it in free.
Tröegs only distributes to 11 states.
Jesus.
It would be really cool if they started pushing that Midwest more.
You know, like the thing is, like now that I think about it, if we go back to the Yingling, they're only in select few states. Maybe that's because of the way the state laws are set up. You can only do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe that's why they're not expanding as much as we'd like to see them do it.
Well, when we looked into Yingling, the reason they've chosen that because it's more of I don't want to say nostalgia, but it's kind of like they like being that brewery that people desire.
It's limited in places. Yeah, I get it.
So in 2016, they produced 89,000 barrels, which was a 16% increase from the year before. With a recent expansion, they aim for over 100,000 barrels this year.
So they're about to be
in 2000,
pretty big name then.
They're pretty big out there, yes.
They're about to be, like, I would imagine you're increasing your sales that much. It's not because of the distribution you have now. Mm-hmm. Or, like, you're planning future growth. They're about to be bigger than they really think they are.
Right.
Or they can be because of the state laws.
Well, and
they know they can be bigger.
They were advertised everywhere. They had advertisements all over, Citizens Bank Park when I went to the Phillies game. I mean, they have a ton of different beers everywhere. And it's like they keep coming. I follow them on different social media outlets, and they produce all the time. And based on reading, they had, and this is where it got a little bit confusing because they're reading, or based on my reading, they originally had 8 fermenters, right? And then
how big were they though?
Well, I'm getting to that, and it sounds like they were about to bring in 8 more. So what I have written down was they had 8 fermenters in 2017, and shortly after they brought in an additional 8 1,000 barrel fermenters. That's ridiculous.
1,000 barrels.
Yes. In 2017, they brewed more than 100 scratch recipes, and each of these, these fermenters.
They have 8,000 barrels of beer they can ferment.
These fermenters are 50 feet tall.
It's freaking huge.
Yes, and they
massive.
range from stainless to aluminum. They hold up to 1,000 barrels of beer, which, for those of you counting at home, is 31,000 gallons or 248,000 pints of beer.
Dude, I could not imagine. Like, all right.
The last thing I have written down, 100% independent. Let's give them a round of applause. Because we love that shit.
1,000. Dude.
1,000 barrels.
Huge. That's huge. Could you imagine, like, we talked to quite a few breweries, and they scale up. So a lot of them are where they go from a barrel to 15 barrels or whatever.
Yeah.
A barrel going to 1,000 barrels, can you imagine scaling that up? Like getting your recipe spot on. Dude, that's huge.
Yeah?
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big. Like, it's so hard to go from 1 to 15 barrels. Like, a barrel is a keg. One half barrel.
Yeah.
1,000 of those. And you gotta brew that, and they're doing it. I don't think do they have a pilot system? I would hope.
I believe
Otherwise, that would be a huge waste if you're brewing 1,000 barrels of one beer.
When I read into it, they do have like the smaller systems that they do pilot stuff. I don't know if they do a whole lot of pilot stuff, but I'd imagine you'd have to. I'd imagine that's pretty. Yeah.
All right. Let's figure out why this bad boy is your favorite beer.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know his review. You don't know mine.
You don't know my review. I just told you.
7.5% alcohol on this bad boy. 85 IBUs. Dude, 85 is bitter. Bitter. That's more than most stouts aren't even that bitter.
That might be one of the most bitter beers we've ever had.
I think we've done a stout that was like over a hundo. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to look back on that and post it.
I thought it was
Perpetual
just up to
IPA. This thing has 6 hops in it.
Yeah.
6.
6.
That's the most hops we've had. Before this, it was 5.
Are you sure?
Yes, it was 5.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to read it straight off here so you guys get it. They do 2 methods of hopping.
6 hops in here. How many words does it get wrong? Over, under, 2.5. I'm going over.
Okay, so they do both your regular hopping,
Yep.
and then they do your dry hops. So
Mhm.
that's probably where they're getting it. I don't know how they do it. But it says Bravo hops. Talked about them. Chinook hops. Those are everywhere. Mountain Hood. I don't know what the hell those are. I'm going with probably bitter or aroma because that's what all hops are.
Right.
And
It's
then
one or the other.
Yeah, and then you got Nugget. Speaking of Nugget hops, we just picked up a truckload of American Nugget hops today.
And
Thank God, that's awesome.
absolute.
And then we got Citra. We know about Citra, dude. They're in every IPA that we normally do.
Yeah.
The last couple, for some reason, haven't. They just went 100% solid one way. And then we got Cascade. Cascade's in a lot of IPAs. Just because it's that dual purpose, higher alpha acids.
Right.
So,
Right.
let's get rid of the beans. All right. Smells average hopness. You know, I was thinking a lot different coming out of this. I was thinking I was gonna have just burning linger all the way down, dude. Just
This
to the core.
is 100% exactly what I expect and what I hope an IPA is supposed to taste like. It's
Again, this is opinion, our opinions.
It's got the right
It's
amount of bitter, the right amount of prickly.
Good.
It is.
There's no linger on the back end.
There's
at all.
no linger on the back end, and
And
it's
I
smooth.
enjoy that. Like that is very, very good for an IPA, and that's what I look for.
I love this.
I'm like, oh, he's just an asshole. He likes IPAs. I could care less if I get an IPA or not. Like whatever.
This is
But
seriously.
this IPA is what an IPA I feel should have in it.
I seriously think, and obviously we said opinion. It is. I can't even describe it anymore. I mean, it has the right amount of bitterness, the right amount of prickliness, the right mouthfeel. It doesn't kick you in the tonsils.
8.9.
Whew.
8.9.
I gotta go on 9.6. This is seriously. This competes.
Jeez, dude, like that's the best.
That's
score
my
you can give
highest
anything
score.
ever.
Because
Based
this
on the type of beer.
this competes with another IPA that I'm hoping to review eventually.
Which one?
I'm not gonna say, but it is neck and neck with that other IPA, and I can't tell anybody enough how much this was such a breakthrough for me to taste something this delicious.
It's really, really good.
I have had so many different IPAs, so many good ones, so many bad ones, so many middle of the road, so many citrus, so many New England, so many hazy, so many brut. Doesn't matter. This had the perfect amount of everything that I needed.
The thing is, I'll break it down real quick for you. It's not an IPA. It's an Imperial.
An Imperial
So
Pale
it's
Ale.
a little bit.
Well, that's
more
an
of what
IPA.
you-
Imperial
it's-
starts with an I.
But
Sheesh!
Glass didn't want to stay on the head because I'm too cool for him. But anyways, Imperial means it's gonna be more mild.
And
in
that
most
would make
cases,
sense.
and that would make sense why. Didn't want to break it, but that's why I gave it.
It doesn't matter.
It's still a good
It's
beer.
still a pale ale.
And you know what we haven't done for a little bit? Drinkability. And I'm kind of disappointed we screwed that up. What do you think for drinkability for an IPA? Because nobody cares about the Imperial part. They care about the IPA part.
Exactly.
When they're
Because it's an IPA. It even says IPA right on there. Imperial India. It doesn't matter. It's
Imperial
still a
normally
pale
is
ale,
more
which means
mellow.
it has a lot of hops. It's bitter. They all have the
Drinkability, I'm
same.
going
Well, as far as drinkability, what do you
intermediate
Oh, okay.
to beginner.
mean? I'm gonna go a little bit above intermediate.
Some more advanced to intermediate.
I would say
Well, mid range.
yes, just
there,
slightly above intermediate, but not
I
necessarily.
feel like
beginner.
somebody that doesn't drink IPAs can drink this though. Like it's
Yeah.
not the worst. It's like
Yeah. Okay. So
Like,
maybe
'cause
right.
it- like, if
maybe
you think-
intermediate for me.
if you smell it, it's not overhopped, and it's still mellow on the back end, which gets a lot. Those two things alone will turn people away from any IPA.
Oh, for sure, and it's not like.
But if you like this is like it's well balanced.
Yeah,
and it's enjoyable.
I agree.
So,
I mean,
what do you give it? Oh, you already did the 9.5,
9.6.
9.6. Jesus Christ, that's so high.
Yeah, this is seriously. I'm not kidding.
Reviews are over. We can't beat it.
No, that's not true.
We're looking for that 10 out of 10, people.
And by the way, this is just as far as what I've had so far. That doesn't mean it won't change. That doesn't mean I won't find something I like better.
By the way, the logos are pretty sweet. Like, there's a mechanical hop and a regular hop.
Yeah.
And it says right here, you want to read this?
I'll read it, sure.
I read it earlier, so I'll let you read it out loud.
At Tröegs Artisanal, meets mechanical in a state of IPA we call Perpetual. Cycling through the hopback vessel and dry hopping method, this bold imperial pale ale emerges ripe and sticky citrus rind, pine balm, and tropical fruit.
So they said they have a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
I'm going with this, probably a whirlpool.
It could be.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of times like, your whirlpool stuff and
Alright.
get that. Alright.
9.6?
I don't remember.
Doesn't matter. It's an awesome beer. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that subscribe,
I
get
think
those
it's 8.6.
notifications pushed, hit the social media, keep her tuned.
I really don't remember, man. My bad.
Sorry.